Donnie Glover Show. Be more news. Be news.
I'd like to welcome you to the Donnie Glover Show. First name's Donnie, last name's Glover. We're with the one and only Dr. Robert Turner. Good morning, Pastor. How are you?
Hey, good morning, brother. Good morning. Always a blessing to be here. Always a blessing to be here. How about you?
What's the first Bible verse that comes to mind?
Exodus. Well, actually, for me, Isaiah 61.
What is that?
The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me because the Lord has anointed me to preach good tidings to the poor. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted and set at liberty the captives.
What does that mean?
Basically means that God has when God puts his hand on you, and it's actually the verse that Jesus preached on when he spoke at the temple, at the synagogue, that he anoints you for the work of liberation of his people.
When you think of liberation, what freedom fighters do you think of in our community?
Living or deceased?
Either or.
Fred Hampton, Huey P. Newton, Stokely Carmichael, El Haj Malik Shabazz, Paul Robeson, Martin Luther King, Muhammad Ali. I mean, there's a several great list of Fannie Lou Hamer, Harriet Tubman. I mean, we got several.
Pastor,
Mm-hmm.
when you think of Black America, I was explaining it to someone yesterday that numerically, if we're 15 to 20% of America, Black people,
Mm-hmm.
then that's kind of like we're the pinky.
Mm-hmm.
We're outnumbered.
Yeah, we are.
Why are we so hard on ourselves? We're outnumbered. Black people don't stick together. Black people don't this. Black people. We're 15% of the population. And despite the negative stereotypes, we dominate any industry we get in.
Yes.
Why are we so hard on ourselves? Why don't we give ourselves grace?
We are people that unfortunately have put into white supremacy. White folks are the only victims of white supremacy, of adherents of white supremacy. Black people are too. And part of the notion of white supremacy, one of the basic foundations of it, is that Black people are inferior in every way to whites. And
that's laughable. I mean,
I know. It's laughable. It's disgusting. It's an outright lie. But we buy into that, and as a result, we treat each other accordingly. And so that's why we're hard on each other. And that was bred into us. I mean, if you watch the news long enough, you will start fearing Black men too. If you believe everything you see on Fox 45, you believe everything you see on and reading some of these books and articles, and who they always put as the poster child for crime. I mean, this is a brilliant marketing strategy by white folks to make Black people, especially Black men, look like the villain. And as a result,
I got to push back. Is it white supremacy or is it perceived white supremacy?
Oh yeah, the white supremacy, that's an ideology.
Okay.
Of white supremacy. It's a belief by those who hold that belief. It's an ideology. It's not fact. It's not
Is
white.
it, do they really believe that?
Yeah.
I mean, because if they really, if white people really felt they were superior, then why would they be afraid?
That's what I say. That's exactly what I say. But
I think it's more belief in scarcity.
no, it's
You preach that we come from a God of abundance.
that's right. That's right.
But that comes from this notion of scarcity. Like there's not enough food for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Now they digging up the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Because some Elon Musk and others want to go live on the moon.
Yes, that's laughable. That's laughable.
You want to live on the moon, Pastor?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't.
You got some people out here bragging on your church, preacher. I had a lady at a business event bring up Empowerment Temple. I thought what's that? What that verse say? Every Christian a soul winner for Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Lord, help me to become a soul winner. Shalonda Stokes is out there trying to save a soul at the airport at the Black Wall Street event we had.
What? I love it.
And then another one out there is Derek Compton.
Good brother.
He's sending me Bible verses, man. What you doing up there at Empowerment Temple?
You need to come check us out. We're just trying to, hey, as my sweatshirt says, we're trying to be live in 25. Be more loving, be more involved, be more victorious, and be more empowered. Be live in 25, LIVE. That's all we're trying to do. And once you put that into practice and put that into focus for your members, the visitors, everybody, we're just trying to be live and help people live their best life.
Now you mentioned some of these people in Black history. Tell me why you would mention a Fannie Lou Hamer.
Brother, she is a legend in my eyes. She spoke truth to power, spoke to the Democratic Party, right? And she was nobody to be played with. She's an organizer. She's from the South. She's a brilliant sister, passionate sister, and I think that more people should study her and read her story.
We don't know a lot of Black history. Pastor, some of us know stories in the Bible better than we know our own family's Black history.
Well, brother, I can tell you one thing. I would like to see people who know stories in the Bible nowadays, because I'm having to introduce folks to who Noah and who Abraham and Moses are. It's sad, but yeah, to your point, we don't really talk about our history as much as we should. And I mentioned that in my book, Creating a Culture of Repair, how we need to study our own family history to know who we are, where we've come from, and what we've overcome.
You know, one thing I've learned, Pastor, is that we were in America long before slave ship.
Sure were. The Olmecs. We were here, man, and they talked about it in their history legends. They speak about how folks came, how we were here well before Columbus. You can even see it on statues in ancient parts of the Central America, ancient ruins.
Olmec heads, the Mayans.
Mm-hmm.
They had pyramids there that resembled Egypt.
That's right. That's right.
You know, we all are infatuated by this cat Elon Musk and his wealth. What is that about us that we are so, oh, he the richest. Oh, Jay-Z a billionaire. Oh, Elon Musk a billionaire. Like we don't know anything about Mansa Musa, the richest king who ever lived.
Exactly. We don't know our own story. We don't know it.
I was in Tanzania back in 06. You mentioned some Black Panthers. I met Pete O'Neill. Pete O'Neill been living in exile since the 60s. Black Panther. Married to Charlotte O'Neill. He got a compound in Arusha, over near Arusha, Tanzania.
Wow.
They don't tell us those stories.
That's sad.
So what we're going to do, what are you preaching to the people? Because I'm finding people worried.
Yeah.
About a Donald Trump. And I don't feel worried.
Me either. I'm not, listen, man, he ain't even the top 5 worst people in the world that have ever existed. He's not even top 5.
There's a list.
And Black folk, we survived all of them. I mean, listen, brother, we had 16 presidents that presided over the institution of slavery. Think about that.
This cat is right in there with him. He's got that mindset.
We had 16, though, that presided over the institution of slavery, right? We had one, Andrew Jackson, that took a whole land from indigenous folk,
Florida,
and had them walk to Oklahoma in the Midwest with the enslaved people, with us Black folk.
Yeah, right? On the Trail of Tears.
Trail of Tears, and we cut down the trees to make the trail. Black folks did.
But I'm gonna tell you this: not all the Black people on the Trail of Tears were slaves.
Nope.
Some of them were soldiers.
Yep. And so exactly. So we had 16 presidents preside over slavery, in institution of slavery. We had 21 preside over Jim Crow. 21 presidents presided over Jim Crow. And then not even mention, people who ran for president, like George Wallace, right? He was Trump before there was a Trump. This man was nobody's joke. All right, I'm from Alabama, and not to mention international figures, terrible folks like Adolf Hitler, and several others who really are far worse than Trump could ever imagine. But guess what? Black folks still survive. We survived the bull corners. We are a resilient people, and we won't be, I don't think, if we allow ourselves to act like Trump is the worst in the world, then we really don't know our history. We don't know our history. We don't know what God has blessed us to overcome. We don't remember people like King Leopold, who killed millions of Congolese people.
Cut their hands off in the Congo.
Exactly, right? And so, I mean, even worse than Hitler, white folks have been doing treachery to us for centuries, man. And we've always overcome. So that's why I say Trump, he's bad. He's the worst we got today, but he is not even in the top 5 in worst in history. And if we can overcome those other individuals who were far more powerful, by the way, far greater, had a lot more power. Trump tries to act like he has power, but those guys actually had power. If we can overcome them, surely by organizing, by being resilient and persevering, and speaking truth to power, we will overcome him as well.
What do you think God's trying to teach us?
I think God is trying to show us that for a while we've gotten too arrogant and we've tried to rely on everybody but God. We thought we could rely on our money. We thought we could rely, especially in this area, on our federal government jobs. We thought we could rely on politicians, right? And all those are fine, well and good, but our ultimate source of trust and faith should not lie in our money. Should not lie in our good government jobs or contracts. It should not lie in a politician, no matter how much we like them. Our ultimate trust and foundation should lie in God. And sometimes God has to take away those other things to show you where your trust should actually lie. Because where your trust lies is where your power comes from. And if your trust lies in your money, if your trust lies in your job, if your trust lies in your politician, then you expect to gain power from that. And we see now, during this storm, that we cannot rely on those things for power. We must rely on God for our power.
I don't know, Pastor. Some of us seem more married to the Democratic Party than we are to our own church.
Oh, that's a fact. But now you ain't saying
I ain't talking about the Republicans.
Now, I know exactly what you're talking about. You have not said anything wrong, brother.
I ain't talking about DEI.
Nah.
I'm talking about DEI in the black community. You
Brother.
got black people who are Democrats who get in position, and as soon as them Negroes get there,
brother,
they become gatekeepers.
Brother.
Black people.
Brother.
And then they come back in 4 years and say, vote for me.
Exactly. Brother.
We got the largest black caucus in the country.
Yeah, we do.
What are we doing? Are we tap dancing in Annapolis?
Brother.
Because Trump show you what he would do right now. He shows you what his agenda is. So I'm concerned when these politicians start saying I'm black. What does that mean?
Brother, we cannot, in the words of my mentor, Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr., he said that black people, we do not have the luxury of having permanent friends, no permanent enemies. We must have permanent interest. And where our interests align, then we fine. We can work together. We can say, do, legislate together. But when our interest no longer aligns, we need to find other allies. And so I think far too often, and we're guilty of it, I mean, we all are guilty of it, we, in too many occasions, see these politicians and see parties as our actual friends.
That's why Fannie Lou started her own joint, Mississippi Democratic Freedom Club.
And on top of that, because we put so much trust in them, we have allowed politicians to replace the preacher. And I understand, you know, preachers have, I mean, preachers are human, got flaws. So you know, they messed up. Have you watched the news in the last 100 years? Politicians got flaws too. Major flaws. But we have allowed politicians to shape our faith and what we believe as Christians. And so when it becomes unpopular for politicians who only want to get reelected, then it has also become unpopular for our church members. And instead of us influencing the culture, instead of us shaping the world, we are being, instead of us transforming the world, we are being conformed by the world. And that's, but when there's a catastrophe, but when airplanes are running into each other and crashing in the Potomac, which is terrible, and when fires break out in California, which is terrible, but when police kill innocent, unarmed black people, which is terrible, we want to run to the church. You know, when government programs are being cut down by this man in the White House now, and your politicians saying, well, I'm just one of however many, I can't do anything for you. And you give them a pass, but you want to run to the church to see what the church can do to help out. So, yeah.
A lot of us have lost our mission, Pastor. I think of church like a shock trauma unit, like a triage unit.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And sometimes the church gets infiltrated by the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the usher at the front door is acting like a devil.
Mm-hmm.
We're bringing the man in a nice suit. We'll sit him on the front row because he got $1 million business down the street. But the old man who didn't shave and got a little wine on his breath, we're gonna chastise him and put him on the back row till you find out that the rich man you sat on the front row is he got 2-3 other wives his wife don't know about, or he's a pedophile, or he's involved in trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
We confused, Pastor.
We are confused.
The words say we should know them by their fruits.
Yep.
We should know them by their fruits.
Mm-hmm.
Living down here in Sandtown, where all of the churches used to be, now all of the churches are almost beyond the Beltway.
Yep.
Now we got what's his name? P.M. Smith. He'll come from Northeast Baltimore over here to Pennsylvania Avenue and have church right on the corner. Now, I don't agree with a lot of stuff PM do because he been off the chain a little bit with Fox. But PM will bring his whole church to the corner of Pennsylvania and Lawrence. And the thing is, we got a bunch of churches over here, but a lot of them scared of the people, man, because we over here in the dope triangle. They got heroin. We got white people coming in from all over the greater DMV just to buy dope. Remember they was checking the squeegee kids?
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody checking these white addicts that walk up to your car.
Not a soul. Not a soul, brother.
I don't hear nobody on Fox talking about the white addicts that come up to your car.
No.
At North and Mount Royal.
Not a soul.
And then I'm supposed to be loving, Pastor. When I see a white boy come to my neighborhood buying dope, shooting dope in my alley, I'm supposed to be loving and forgiving, right?
Yep. That's a good point, Doc. I haven't seen anybody complain about the panhandlers, the white ones. But the squeegee boys, they got to go.
Doc, I saw 9 o'clock one morning just before the show was a white lady right out front who she was an amputee. And somebody snatched her wheelchair because she was crawling down the street on her belly. I have never seen nothing like that in my life. But the news tell me to watch out for the squeegee kids. I'm watching this lady out here doing a ninja move down my sidewalk.
My.
How do I not like that?
Yeah, brother.
You know, I'm starting to understand why Moses had to be out in the desert so long. What was it, 40 years?
40 years. Whole generation died.
People not going to like what I'm going to say, but they never like the truth. We got the National Urban League. That man been running that thing for 20 years. When is he going to pass the ball?
Who is it? I don't even, I'm new out here. Who is over there?
Oh, the man used to be the mayor down in New Orleans. Mark Morial.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant the local chapter of Urban League. Mm-hmm.
If the national ain't doing nothing, you can't have but so many expectations of the local.
My.
We get into these positions.
Yeah.
And we've been there 30, 40 years. And we think these cats going to pass the ball.
They're not.
So, Reb, I hear you walk to D.C. every week. What's that all about?
I just did it yesterday. I just did it. My feet are sore now, brother. It was so hard. to walk in here to get on this interview.
Why you walking to DC, Doc? You got a car?
I got a couple of cars. Yeah, I got a calling too though, and I got a conviction for a cause, and that cause is reparations. And so I feel God told me to walk from Baltimore to the White House. I start at Carroll Park, and it takes me about 42.9 miles. It's 42.9 miles. It takes, depending on the weather and my pace, 14 hours, 13 hours on a good day. But yeah, I do it, and I carry a wreath of 400 roses, lay them at the gate of the White House. And I pray, I read the scripture I just stated to you, Isaiah 61. And I've done the walk now 29 times. 29 times. And brother, it is a walk. Like
Doc, you just trying to get out the house, man. What you doing? You in the doghouse at home. What 14 hours?
yeah,
Come on now.
14 hours.
Convict me.
For our people, man. For our people. For our people.
Man, we are so quick to say, oh, we ain't gonna get no reparations. Kind of like that 15% rule.
Mm-hmm.
We not gonna get, if you say you're not gonna get it, you're not gonna get it.
That's what I was just about to say, brother. If we are assured to not get it if we ain't gonna fight for it. But there's a chance if we fight for it that we will get it.
Have you met Dr. Ray Winbush? He's been the authority on reparations.
That's my brother. Yes, sir. Dr. Winbush of Morgan State. Yes, yes. In fact, he and I now serve on the Baltimore Reinvestment and Reparations Commission. Yeah.
What does reparations look like for you?
Man, you know, I got a book, got over 100 ways of giving repair. The longest list of repair ideas in the world done by an individual. So it's several ways you can do repair, several ways on it from an individual basis on what individuals can do to a societal basis, to what societies, communities can do, to institutional, which to me is the truest form, what government and governmental bodies can do. And the last one is spiritual reparations on what institutions of faith can do to repair. It's very vast, and you can pick it up. You can go type it into Google, creating a culture of repair, creating a culture of repair. We have some of here. I have some on me if your audience wanted to get a copy of a book. I'm at church every day, but they could also reach out to me online, my email, Pastor Turner at empowermenttemple.net, or on social media, because my email sometimes everything goes to spam. But Instagram, I'm at Rev Dr. Robert Turner, and Facebook, same name.
You say Jesse Jackson is your mentor, huh? You know, Jesse kind of lost me some time ago.
I understand.
I just wonder when these cats gonna pass the ball. I'm 60, and if I'm not grooming the next generation of editors, of news people, of entrepreneurial beyond my family, they say, and a preacher said this. He said, you know you have the Holy Spirit when you help empower others.
Yeah, no, I think that is true. And what I can say as far as my personal experience, he has really tried, although health limitations, to pour into myself and share wisdom and encouragement and insight. But I absolutely agree that leaders should always at least be trying to train the next generation or the next leader.
I mean, especially after you become a millionaire, don't you want somebody else to be a millionaire? We're talking to Dr. Robert Turner. I don't know what happened. His connection might have freezed up. We thank you for tuning in. We'll see if you chime back in. I do think about those people in the Bible out in the wilderness for 40 years. Some of those old ways had to die off. Hope to see you this Saturday at the Black Wall Street Expo. Go to Black Wall Street Expo 2025.eventbrite.com. Guaranteed to have a wonderful time. I guess that'll be all for today. Good morning, world.